And hello, we should be here. We should be on. I've got sound over here. Let's roll with this. Doesn't matter what show we do. We always is the first few seconds of just making sure that everything is tickety boo. So hopefully, if you're watching, it's tickety boo. I don't know. I'm not watching it. I'm here. Anyway, hello, welcome to Band of Badgers. I am Dave, your host for this evening, and this is our Great British Brush Off. And joining us around the paint pot once again is returning pro-artist Rick Ankney, otherwise known as Tabletop Santa. How you doing, Rick?
Hi, Dave. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all again. I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. That's the right answer. It's this is our first brush off of 2022. It's a new year. It's a new us kind of thing. So we're hoping we're all good to go. As always, joining me is Stephen Joe. How you doing, Stephen Joe?
Stephen Joe, good.
Stephen Joe. Oh, good. Who who once again will be desperately hunting down this season's gold stars. Now, if you don't know what we do we're at Brush Off, us three, Dave, Steve, and Joe, are all various degrees of amateur painters who are joined.
Cue 5 minutes of excuses.
Yeah, here it comes.
Right, I'm clocking up the hours now. I'm getting there. I'm getting better. I'm getting more confident in the painting. But the idea is that we are joined by a professional painter to basically teach us how we can, different painting skills, techniques, that kind of thing, of how we paint a variety of miniatures. And this episode, we are painting the WizKids Ghouls from the D&D Nozors range, the Marvelous Miniatures. And we get that's it really. We're just gonna do that. So for the next 2 hours, buckle in.
These are new models because
These are the new models.
Previously have ghouls.
The previous ghouls, these are different to the previous ghouls we've had before, which I think those might have been Pathfinder ghouls. I'm not sure, but these are the D&D.
They could have been actually.
These are the D&D ghouls. So thank you to WizKids, thank you to Vallejo and to Redgrass, but most of all, thank you to you for watching. Yeah, so that's it really. We're gonna now hand it over to Rick because Rick is going to instruct us. And while we do this, we're just gonna kind of do a Q&A with Rick and catch up because we haven't spoken to him for a while. See what everyone's working on. See what things are afoot in the world of miniature painting. So, hello again, Rick. How are you?
I'm doing great. Again, thanks everybody, and for everybody watching. Thanks for tuning in to watch this. I'm gonna do my best not to make it a fiasco for y'all.
Cool.
So let's just jump into it. All right. So with these ghouls, as you can see on the back of the card for the miniature, there's a lot of grays in those as far as the skin tones,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see there's like a bluish or a purple used for the cloth. Obviously, you can do anything you want for that cloth piece, and I'm actually not going to use a blue or anything like that. I'm going to use English uniform today.
Okay.
Which is it's part of the model. Where is it? I just set it up. Here it is. It's the English uniform, part of the model color by Vallejo.
Yeah.
Just so that it kind of contrasts with the gray, because that purple bluish kind of really blends in with that gray, and there's not a lot of separation. So let's do. I'm going to do that. You guys obviously can do whatever color you want for the cloth, but I'm going to start off with a base of Cayman green for the skin, and then I'm going to do gray over that as a dry brush and highlights, because I always feel like dead flesh. I've seen dead flesh, and it's not just this gray. There's a lot to it, a lot more to it than just a gray tone. So and you can see I feel like if ghouls are coming out of the grave and these undead creatures, they're gonna have gangrenous flesh, and then the gray on the high points, because there's not even residual blood in there to keep it a tan or white, and then and then some reds for the tongue, because as you can tell, these are really ugly, and they have their tongues out.
They are ugly.
Like they're at a rock concert, like a Five Finger Death Punch concert or something. I only can say that because I worked for those guys for a little bit.
Oh, really? Wow.
All right, so yeah, I'm going to start off with this.
Should we switch our cameras, Dave?
Yeah, go for it.
There we go.
Steve's already getting kitted up. Look, here comes the RoboCop. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'm gonna put mine on too when we get to like doing some more of the finer details on these, because the faces are really nice on these models, and I want to be able to do some good highlights on there.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm just gonna base it with this Cayman green, and if you're just using grays, just obviously just base the flesh with the grays, and then base the cloth bits around the waist there with whatever color you're going to do, and then we'll do some highlights and detail work on that afterwards.
Yep, as always, I am trying to stick to with my thinking is that if I can stick with the original colours, then next time I can do variant colours. That's my plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if anybody watching is new to painting miniatures and you're like scared to start because you don't want to ruin a miniature, just so you know, the first miniature you paint isn't going to be the best, right? Nobody's the best the first time they ever do anything. So the good thing about Knowlesers and WizKids miniatures is they're relatively inexpensive. So you can do test paints on one of the miniatures, because they always, with these kind of things, they always come in twos, right? Or character miniatures come in twos. So
Yep.
you can test paint one and then do what you like and learn on the second one, and it'll be better. And then the next one will be better, and the next one will be better. And next thing you know, I don't have a spot on the Great British Press Off anymore because they're way better.
There will always be the top spot. That's where you are. There will always be the top spot.
I'd also say if it is your first time painting, don't throw away your first ever miniature. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't strip it or anything, because it's good to look at it and go, look at your improvement, I suppose. Right?
Oh, absolutely. So, what have you all been up to since the last time I think I did not participate in the third season, but because I was in a transit moving and
Yep.
everything. So
We've had various shows going on. So, with Brush Off, we have different bits and pieces going on. So we're painting kind of Pathfinder minis, WizKids minis, D&D minis. So it's all from WizKids. For this year, 2022, we're expanding with other studios. So we are going to be painting from next week. Next Monday, we start our first episode with a studio called Cerberus, who are based here in the UK. So we're going to be painting some of those minis. Rick is also going to be joining us to paint with some of those as well. But yeah, last year was much the same. It was doing some painting. We finished a 10-month campaign, a 10-month live campaign, which hurt me a lot. It nearly killed me, but so that was fun. That was our Rise of the Ruined Lords Pathfinder campaign.
wow.
Yeah.
And we've
Avernus finished as well.
Avernus finished, yeah.
Wow.
We did our first science fiction one with Starfinder, which Steve was doing.
Okay.
Joe was running Avernus. And we're already midway through January 2022. We've already launched 2 new campaigns.
Okay.
So we're doing a Pathfinder campaign. We're doing Pathfinder Malevolence. And we are doing Scarlet Citadel with Kobold Press.
Oh, very cool. Yes, Kobold Press has got some really good stuff. Is that part of the, was it Midgard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Really enjoyable, actually. Really enjoying it.
I don't know the Midgard mythology very well. I know Wolfgang Bauer is like
That's right.
the guy for all that stuff.
Yeah, I had a nice chat with him, and I said, look, this is what we do. These are the types of games we play. And he sent me a bunch of books. And I picked Scarlet Citadel. We're going to do Empire of the Ghouls after that. And
Gonna have some goals to use.
exactly. Now we're going to be doing lots of undead. And they're nice. I mean, the Scarlet Citadel is a dungeon crawl, and it has some twists. It's not as straightforward as it's not like Mad Mage.
Okay.
There are some twists and turns which I think are more unexpected than you think.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We're mixing the teams up. We've got with Scarlet Citadel we have a player from Australia. We have 2 players from the States. And Steve. and Steve.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're doing 4 time zones across 2 days.
Yeah.
And something we hope to be doing. I don't know if we'll get it in time for Gen for not for Gen Con, for GaryCon. Is I've been going over some of my old D&D editions and looking what to run, and I've selected a few. They're good adventure stories,
Right.
so I think we're going to try and run some of them. So yeah, there's a whole heap. If you want to come play rather than paint, just let me know and we'll book you in.
So are you running some of the virtual GaryCon content then?
Not yet. We've been thinking about it.
Okay.
Last year we missed it.
Okay.
And
you might want to get on it because I think they're scheduling it now because it's only like 8 weeks away.
Yeah, I did what you said before. I emailed Luke.
Yep.
I don't know if they've got anything kind of European time zone-esque.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, last year we missed it, so I'm hoping that we can get something done. It'd be nice to kind of launch one of these new old campaigns.
Nice.
Older campaigns. But yeah, we're looking at doing some of the classics.
Like some of the first edition stuff?
Not necessarily first edition, but things like we grew up with what was the one, Steve? Temple of Elemental Evil.
Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil. We've got is it Gardner Abbey? Some of the quests for Silver Swords.
Yeah, Pool of Radiance.
Start adventures from second edition.
Yeah.
So that's where we really started playing was second edition. Before that, we was using basic. So it was Mystara, the old cyclopedias, Dwarves of Dwarfheim, Elves of Alfheim, those sort of books, which I discovered in storage the other day when I was in the clear out.
Nice. Storage, man. It's the best, right? I've been pulling stuff out of my storage locker here in Michigan. Now that I told you before we went live, my brother and I went on a road trip and grabbed all my storage units in Maryland and Virginia and brought them back to Michigan. So all my stuff's consolidated here. So I was like, I'm going to spend a day and just kind of go through some stuff.
Yep.
And I found like all my first edition modules.
Oh, wow.
And so you'll see, like, if for anybody that's on TikTok, I run the GaryCon TikTok with Luke, and so you'll see a lot of content that I create on there. And right now I'm doing like kicking it old school, like just showing like here's a copy of the first edition player's handbook and dungeon master guide and things like. I think one I'm doing this week is going to be a video basically talking about how back in first edition, in order to become a bard, you had to be a fighter, a wizard, and a thief.
Yeah.
And get certain levels before you could even think to become a bard.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's like showing off all these interesting things that have changed over the years in the game. And like my first module I ever played was G1, 2, and 3 Against the Giants, which has been reprinted in different iterations and different like what is it, the Thunder King or whatever, the new
Storm King's Thunder.
Storm King Thunder. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the G1, 2, and 3 module series
Yep.
in a modern sense.
Did you ever play? Talking about Giants, did you ever play Revenge of the Giants?
I've not.
It was a D&D. I think it's fourth edition. But that's another one on the list as well. So we're kind of mixing it up because it's a nice. It's a kind of dimension time hopping.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Always lots of fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah. So I've been doing that and having fun with it, and I think if you guys can get in to do some virtual content for GaryCon, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to have a word. To see if we can.
But speaking of Kobold Press, I am almost certain they have a Kickstarter going on right now for their new, it's like a new monsters guide.
It is the Tome of Beasts 3.
Yeah. Yes.
Their third volume. Yeah, some really nice stuff. What I love about Kobold is I didn't originally know much about them. There's two publishers. You got Kobold Press and it's just gone out of my head.
Names?
No. Frog God.
Frog God Games.
Frog God Games.
Yeah.
And they make some fantastic stories. And when I had a chat with Wolfgang from Kobold, and we were talking about, he was asking me what kind of stories I liked, artists and writers, and I was like, name dropping as much as I could. He goes, yeah, they used to work here, and they started here. So, oh wow, okay.
It's a very incestuous industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Rise of the Rune Lords and various artists, and he was artists and writers. He goes, yeah, well, he's British and he's based over there. I was like, really? So yeah, he goes, he used to work here and he did this story for us. I was like, oh, wow, okay.
It's wild. And I saw them just a couple weeks ago at PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
In Philly. They had, and then their booth is just amazing.
Yeah, they went big this time.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. We mentioned it off camera, but basically the stuff we're doing this year is us as Band of Badgers. We are coming to the States. We are going to be doing. We're coming over for Gen Con because we can turn it into a bit of a holiday that way. And we hope to see everyone there. So drinks and dinners and lots of chin wags, having a chat with people, see what we can do. We want to put on some live shows. We want to meet various people and publishers and things. So it'd be
Are you
great
talking to Gen Con now?
Well, they've just opened up their tickets, so we're gonna try and get our press tickets sorted.
So if you're gonna try to run games and possibly even do some live stuff, you should be talking to their marketing and events coordinator.
Do you have an inside name?
I do, and I'll give it to you after the stream.
That's cool.
Because that could mean that you guys don't have to even worry about press badges. You just get guest badges.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought it was the way that the way we understood it was you buy your ticket as normal, and then you talk to them about, okay, we're I thought press was the only option. But okay, cool.
Especially if you're working with a publisher, right? Like, let's say you're working with Beetle and Grimm.
Yeah.
Or you're working with Kobold Press. They can even get you in with be like, hey, we're gonna we'll run a certain amount of slots of your games in the game hall, and then so again that reduces your cost in the travel of coming over here from the UK, where you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the kind of communications I'd be having with the publishers that you're already working with. And then, of course, talking to the events and marketing at Gen Con to be like, hey, this is who we are. These are the companies that we currently work with. And we would like to come and do some games and even maybe do something on the stage, on the main stage. With
That
you
would be
guys.
cool.
Mm.
Because that's where, I mean, you could do some live stream stuff there, sure,
Yeah.
but it's a much bigger deal if you're doing it on the main stage and it's on the Gen Con channel.
Gotcha.
And then you can just tell people about your personal channels, obviously, and move them there to watch any further content you're creating. All right.
You taking notes, Steve?
I am.
So yeah, so just back to our beautiful ghouls. I'm still just basing. I'm putting my brown, the uniform, the English uniform there, brown on there.
Yeah.
And then the basings will be done, and then it'll be going through. Now that they're got that beautiful green, it's gonna be doing the highlights and dry brushing with the. I'm using dark sea gray when I get to that point.
Love that colour. That's my favourite colour.
Right. I think I've gone through 3 bottles in the last year with some other, because I've been painting some military stuff recently,
Right.
like World of Tanks from Gale Force 9.
I did a lot of terrain with it.
Yeah, that's another company y'all might want to reach out to, is Gale Force 9.
We did some stuff with Gale Force 9 before. They were not models, and we had one of their UK guys on with us as well when we did.
Nice.
Was that Tomb of Annihilation?
Tomb
Joe?
of Annihilation, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, those guys are great. I run their TikTok as well.
So while on the topic of the lovely undead, we were talking before. Very exciting news. I didn't know. So Rick also works with a company called Come On, who have recently announced, and it's going to be going live tomorrow, which I didn't know, a zombicide game which is themed Marvel Zombies, or it's a Marvel Zombies game with the zombicide rule set. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just highly excited about it.
So I would say either one of those responses is correct.
Good.
It's really nice. Yeah, it launches tomorrow. If you're watching any socials around the Simon or Come On platform, you're going to be like, they're literally just throwing as much content out right now as they can to get the hype train going. The models are sick. I can actually show you. I'll show everybody the Thor. I have the Thor model here.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, the models are amazing. The Galactus that you can get in the Kickstarter is just ridiculous. And as you had mentioned before, it does come with interchangeable head, so you can have zombie Galactus or normal Galactus.
Yeah.
And it's a playable piece in the game, which is also pretty awesome.
I think they mentioned it in the interview, in the release trailer. It says it becomes part of the board or something, so you can climb Galactus or something.
So there's Thor.
See, that is great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. This is a model they were giving away as a promo at San Diego Comic-Con this past October, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or no, November. It was right around Thanksgiving. They had like a special edition, because everybody's, was trying to get back into the con scene a little bit.
Yeah.
So they were giving away this promo to help promote it, and it is just beautiful. And it's, bearded Thor with the long hair, and like it's just great.
What's on the base? Is
The
each base different?
The base it looks like some stone, but it has Thor's helmet with the wings,
Oh, cool.
and also a battle axe on there as well. Yeah, so it's pretty nice. It's gonna be a lot of fun to paint. So check it out. Launches tomorrow. Everybody's super excited.
Yeah.
So if I were to make a guess, I'm thinking it's going to be a $4 million plus Kickstarter.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just me guessing. You know, if you could gamble on such things, I would probably put down a little money on that and just be like, this is what I think it's going to get. But it looks like, because there's a few things I don't know about the Kickstarter, because they just haven't told me a couple things, and one of them is there going to be a normal version and a zombie version of every hero that is printed? I do not know the answer to that, but I do know that there are some characters that are getting the zombie workup as well.
Because they mentioned on the trailer, they mentioned that you can play the Marvel zombies. So Iron Man is a zombie, but they said, oh, by the way, you don't just go around like Iron Man can eat J. Jonah Jameson, for example. He can be one of the survivors. But they said it's not straightforward because not all of the heroes have been turned, and up pops Spider-Man.
Right.
But I wonder if there must be a way that you can turn them and get them on, or maybe you go from playing Iron Man to playing Iron Man and Spider-Man, and you control those two characters.
Right.
I love Zombicide. I think it's a great game, and I love Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, and the fact that they're doing this right after the What If cartoon came out, and had the Marvel Zombie episode, which was amazing.
Yeah,
is good marketing.
Yes, it is. Perfect timing.
Right. I think it's gonna do really well, and I like everything. I can't wait to paint the miniatures or add them to my shelf of shame.
Are they going to give you the box and go, yeah, you can paint them now?
Well, I'll probably get them a couple like prototypes before the Kickstarter ends to do some stuff, because starting this Wednesday in the evening, I'll be doing I'm working on the Giant Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do an hour live on their TikTok, because again, I run their TikTok as well. I'll be doing an hour live of painting, and I'll probably do a breakout where I'll be like, oh, by the way, let's put a little bit of paint on this Thor.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be a lot of fun. The biggest thing is there's some things you just can't talk about because of the licensor, Marvel and Disney, until tomorrow. When all will be revealed.
Yeah,
I think
don't want to get the big mouse coming after you.
Right.
Yeah. They had I think one of the things they mentioned on there they've done several trailers and YouTube videos now about the Marvel Zombicide, and I think the Galactus model, which as you said is like 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
I think it's the 24-hour only. Is it first 24-hour backers get it?
I don't recall. That sounds right, but because they can't print 1,000 of those.
Yeah. They might have to. It's stunning. Yeah. It's got LEDs built into its eyes and the power unit and stuff.
Mm.
It looks
no,
nice.
I don't think there's LEDs built into it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. That might be something with the Kickstarter, the prototypes that are floating around. I think they had the people at man, I can't remember the name of the group that got to paint it already. I was like, I think they had to actually break into it to add that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw a photo where they actually had the Galactus was torn apart, and then they had to put it back together because they actually had to break it to do some stuff with it.
They chopped him up.
I was like, my inner nerd just was like, no.
Yeah, it is a beast.
Yeah. It's like 4 or 5 inches taller than the Cthulhu that came out with Death May Die years ago.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I have a photo of them standing next to, or like placed next to each other, and it is a significant difference.
well, I mean, like talking about the various giant minis.
Yeah.
It's still called minis. The like WizKids D&D Tiamat. So
Yes.
we're we partner up with Gallant Goblin and Josh Maguire Review, and and they got copies. They got review copies sent to them. And these things are huge. I mean, it's massive. And then Gallant Goblin recently showed a video. You can get the unpainted version now.
Yeah.
And it's like you need a lot more paint. We use these finger pots for paint, and you think, well, that's not gonna. You could just squirt the whole thing on Tiamat and not get anywhere.
Yeah. Tiamat is a beast. Mine is here, but it's packed there. Yeah, it's over on my other desk. But it is. I have the painted version. I want to paint my own version of it, but yeah, I don't know if I even have enough paint.
Would you do something different, or would you do that faithful representation?
I would not do faithful representation. And the reason I say that is because I look at it and I want to use. Are you familiar? With the Vallejo like shifter paints?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
I would want to use those.
Yeah.
To get a real good like serpentine.
Oh, like a shiny scale effect.
Shiny scale serpentine
Wow.
look.
Yeah.
The electric blue would look good.
Oh my god, it would. Yes.
That's my favourite shifter paint.
I like the pearl. I think it's called. It's got it has like a that white mother of pearl, but when you shift it, it goes a little purple.
Mm-hmm.
That color is just amazing. I used it on a giant snake creature from the Epic Encounters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The Temple of the Snake God, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that Sean Sunday put up on his TikTok account, right? Asking people to duet with him when he if they've painted it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not on TikTok.
What? Not yet. You guys should have a Band of Badgers channel. Dimension 20's on there. Critical Role's on there now.
Oh.
You could just add it to your list of accounts that you run.
No. I apologize.
Nice try, Joe. Yeah.
It's worth trying to help me out, Dave.
The reason I say that is because you guys don't have a product that I can play with to make videos. I'd have to go and like clip all your videos. That is just not going to happen. You guys do that, right? You clip your own videos for promo, right?
We have Baron Snowhands for that.
Yeah. we have a guy came on and started watching our shows, and then he started clipping, and we're like, okay, that's fine, go for it.
All right. That's great.
And then he started playing.
Yeah.
And clipping at the same time.
You could just do that. Take those clips and put them on TikTok. As long as they're under 3 minutes.
That might be a good idea.
Because it's when it comes to a platform for engagement, it's ridiculously good. Like I just did a video. It was last week. I did a video where I took an old Dragon magazine, right?
Yeah.
Because again, finding all my old stuff, and I'm like, if you remember in the old Dragon magazines, they had an article called Sage Advice, where people would ask rules questions, and someone like Skip Williams or some other like known entity within the D&D space would answer the questions, right?
Yeah.
So I was reading it, and it was talking about resurrection, and this would have been around the era of 3.0, 3.5.
Yeah.
And the question was, so if you cast resurrection on dragonhide armor, would it resurrect the dragon? And the answer is yes. Yes, it would.
Wow.
And that just blew my mind, because now I'm like, I want to like do a campaign, a homebrew campaign, where basically a cleric who is a member of the dragon cult portrays themselves as something totally different, hires a party to go and find this ancient armor, or this armor that was supposedly built from an ancient red dragon. And when they bring the armor back, he basically says thank you, and then after they leave, he resurrects this ancient red dragon to terrorize the whole area. And there's your big bad evil, is this resurrected dragon, who obviously is going to just kill even the dragon cult people, because he's like going to be, I think he'd be insane coming back after something like that. But yeah, I was just like, this is great. And then of course the entire community of D&D, because the D&D community on TikTok is massive, like hundreds of thousands of people. All right. So this video has already gotten like 200,000 views. And it's, but people are like, well, if it works on dragonhide, what about like just regular leather? Could it be a cow that's
big cow that...
Yeah. And of course, the community is coming up with all these weird and amazing like, things. So, which I just love. That's one of the things I love about it, because they go out of their way to make it just crazy. So, all right. So I'm done basing all my models. So with the green and the brown. So now I'm going to take the gray, and I'm going to dry brush. And for anybody that's watching that is not familiar with dry brushing, you're literally going to take, you're going to grab a hobby dry brush if you have one, or a dry brush from any other company. I'm using the Army Painter brushes right now. And you're going to take and you're just going to wipe it off on your napkin or paper towel or whatever until it is like not coming off at all anymore. And then you're going to just brush against the grain of the high points on your model. So it's really going to affect the musculature, like on the back of this ghoul. I'll do a couple swipes on it, and then I'll show y'all. And then what's funny is I know I don't have to tell you three this anymore, because this is the 4th season.
Yeah, we're learning. We're learning.
You know? So...
It is actually strange, because, you know, when you were on our very first season, it was very weird to be kind of... It felt like you're learning new skills straight away. Like, as soon as we hand over to the pro artist, and the artist goes, right, this is what you need, this is what you're going to do. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's a shopping list. How do we do that? And we're just like watching. And now, we're season 4. We're a lot more. I'm a lot more confident. Joe's much faster.
Okay. Yes.
Steve has more headgear. So,
which is great. Yeah. All right, so I don't know how well this is going to look in the camera. But the gray is already showing good definition separation of the model from that green and the gray highlights.
Yep.
Let me see if I can do a little better light source on that, using my goggles as well. Yeah. But yeah, you can kind of see how that is definitely like showing the separation of the muscles on the back. And I'm going to do it on the front as well, and the legs and the hands and everything. But you get that green, that gangrenous green look underneath the flesh where it's absolutely rotting. Right?
It's amazing the definition that shows up. It's such a simple technique.
Yeah.
And it is so powerful.
So there we go with that. Now I'm going to hit the front and the hands on this model. And again, when you're dry brushing, you're just lightly going over the high points of the model. And again, against the grain. So if the muscles, as you can see, the striations go this way, I'm going to dry brush across this way.
Yeah.
Just like on the chest, the muscles go this way. So I'm going to dry brush against the grain. And it's kind of funny is the chest wall and the pectoralis area of the ghoul go this way, but the abs go the exact
Go the
opposite
different way.
It's like, good gosh. Just do that over all of the green that we did on that model.
We got it. We can hear people concentrating now. People have got to the detail bit.
I do like that that Chav Hunter 86 in the chat. It said that a zombie version of Tiamat would be kind of cool, I think.
I think that would be nice. If you could do, how would you, without adjusting the model, like if you could put tears and rib cages and like their jaw being ripped apart and inside flesh, how could you adapt that to look undead without changing the physical model?
It would have to be muted color tones. So instead of it being the bright red, the bright blue, the white, the dark black,
yeah,
you would have to put some grays in there and just again mute the colors that are part of the normalcy of the dragon.
Yeah,
I would think, and then I would almost do some like along the jawline and the face, see if there's any way to just through paint alone give the illusion of like where the jaw might be like opened up a little bit more from decay, right? or whatever. Those would be kind of like just some things I would try. But I think green stuff would become my friend.
Yeah.
add that extra bit in.
I would have to modify the model personally, or even take like a hot wire or a soldering tool and take the wings and like burn holes into the wings where the decay of the wings has occurred. But then I'm thinking, this is like a $200 model. I'm not going to ruin it.
You're enhancing it.
All right. But that would scare the crap out of me if I saw an undead Tiamat come out of nowhere. Be like, nope, this is a full-on bottle of nope. I'm drinking it all.
Yes, Cthulhu mythos levels of nope.
Yeah. Heck no.
It's just a grand finale, isn't it? And here rises zombie Tiamat
as we kill it
as we fade to black. Again. Yeah. You have two Tiamats.
Yeah.
Well, have any of you read or looked at the new Fizban book on
dragons? No, not yet.
No. So one of the things that they kind of talk about in that book is that there is a representation of every dragon across like a multiverse. So if there's a red dragon in the Forgotten Realms called Astersan or some weird name, there is a version of that dragon in every verse.
Oh.
Right? And when one dies, the energy is dispersed. Kind of like, I don't know if it makes the dragon more powerful, the ones that are left, but there could be, like anything, a zombie verse where they're all undead dragons and there's a freaking Tiamat.
Yeah.
Giving me nightmare fuel right now thinking about it. But I think it would still be cool. glutton. I'm a glutton for punishment for sure. Right. So yeah, the once you get the dry brushing or highlighting done, if this is the path you're taking, then it's kind of like doing a little bit of dry brushing along the browns as well to give that tattered look along the edges where, you know, maybe they are like running through some muck or mud, just give it that aged look. But for anybody that's just using grays, and I'm going to be using a different color gray for something else as a detail piece, you know, like detail and depth comes in like 3 shades, right? I think Joe, you know all that, right? Three shades of depth.
Yeah, so I always try to highlight higher than you think you should, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. And so what I'm going to do is after I'm done with this dry brushing, I'm going to take another color of gray to do some more detailed content on this miniature, to make it even more separated and pop. So for me, it's not three shades of this of a same color. It's the green and then 2 shades of gray.
Yeah.
As my workup. All right. And my second gray is going to be this pale green or pale gray blue.
And that's nice. I've got that, I think.
Sorry.
I think I was using that.
And I'm going to be using this. Like if you're looking at the model, like the one that's hunched over, it's got, and the other one has it as well, but like you can see like some of the spinal area at the top of its neck.
Yeah.
And like around its like throat area, I think is going to be a good spot to maybe put a little bit of that color in there.
Yeah.
And then for me, this is going to be the main highlight to the face. Almost like if there was a light source where like a torch was coming in, right? So, and someone with a torch is here, there's going to be a light source and it's going to be that pale gray blue that I'm going to put on the model to kind of represent that where you first see it. And it's like, yeah, you know, and then we all run because ghouls.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys know this, but when I play D&D, it's like, why am I fighting this? It's going to hurt me.
Oh, you're not going to like playing with our games then. I always try to set the players up if I can.
Perfect.
It was good actually. In the second episode of our Scarlet Citadel campaign, we introduced a guest player and the players were ready. And this is like the first 5 minutes of it. And we're like, yeah, okay. And you see this big guy, this big kind of burly human, and he's beaten bloody, and he's in rags. And he does this thing where he's kind of leaning against the wall as he's trying to struggle to stand, and then there's a red smear as he walks past. And then as he hits the ground, the smear just follows him down to the floor. And he looks up at the players and he says, "Run!" And then this even bigger guy, the executioner kind of guy, just stomps in, boom, boom, twice as wide as they are. So they start fighting him, and that's fine. They got these zombies on chains hanging around them, and so they think they're fine because there's an exit behind them. They know the way out. If they want to run away, they can. So I thought, right, I'm going to block that. So I had in the story, there's a crimson-skinned ogre. So I had him come through the back door. So now he is blocking the exit. The other guy is blocking the way forward, and they're in a circular room, trapped.
Oh my god!
There's a big hole in the middle of the room, which they could fall through, and there are basically zombies hanging on chains in this room. So that was kind of nice.
Do you not like your players?
No.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
And they were level 2. So that's it's a nice struggle just to see what they did, but I love it when my players use the environment.
Oh yeah.
And they did it very, very well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have a rogue I'm playing right now called Eugene Swiftcloak.
Nice.
But he's not your typical rogue, all right? He's 6'5", 400 pounds. Right? So he looks like a barbarian, and he gets mistaken as such. And he has a ring of create food and water.
Okay.
Mhm.
So he's always got like a piece of cake in his hand or a turkey leg or something. But he's really good at his job, and he wants to become the Earl of Rogues. And when people ask him why the Earl of Rogues, because everybody wants to be the King of Thieves. So
Brilliant.
it's he's a fun character. He literally looks just like me, oddly. But he doesn't want to fight. He just wants to like pick locks and that. So yeah, I'm just doing some detail on the face using my wonderful glasses here, like Steve's got his on.
Rich, I was going to ask you, when you were saying earlier on about the different layers and stuff, do you not use, after your base, do you not use a wash? Or
Yeah, I do use a wash, and I probably will use a wash on this as well. And I'm probably going to use, man, I kind of want to use a flesh tone. Not like a dark or a soft, but an actual flesh tone that puts a little bit of a ruddiness in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for whoever, if you're going to use a wash, use one that is, for the individual. Like, do you want it to have more of a dark recessed capture from the wash going into those crevices, or do you want it to add a little something else? And I think that's why I'm going to go with a flesh, or maybe even a reduced red tone to add that potential for blood still in the body and in the spots where it would be kind of popping out. God dang, these things are spooky.
Yeah, these are great detail.
Yeah. And for you all doing a module coming up that is going to have some, it's basically called something about the ghouls, right? You're saying that it's got...
Yeah, so we're doing, from Kobold Press, it's Empire of the Ghouls. And even Scarlet Citadel, there's lots of undead. So it is... What I like about these two minis, it's just two great poses.
Yeah. That is a fact. They look great.
And we do, because we use minis and physical maps and things like that in our games.
Yeah.
And I basically use what I'm doing here. I use a phone on a holder, on a stand. And that means I can zoom it straight into the action as well. So it's not like top down. I can do different angles. I can rotate the maps. So that has become very, very fun to do. So everything that we paint goes into the games as well. We're doing something that we're doing with I'm calling it the perfect storm, where for publishers, if you have the story that we can play, if you have the minis that go with the story, we can paint them and play with them. We do interviews now as well, so we can do an hour-long interview with the creator.
Okay.
So we do, there's a whole variety of stuff that we do, and it's all part of the same kind of, when we show something like Scarlet Citadel, or we're doing Pathfinder Malevolence, it's everything. We can do an unboxing, we can do an interview, we play the game, we do the minis. It's just nice to have a bit more involvement with that.
Yeah.
So it's not just, we're not just going to play the game. We want to find out everything about it. We want to talk to the people who created it. Why? How?
Yeah. No, that's great. Have you talked to like Richard August?
No.
He's the individual who's basically writing all the Steam forged epic encounters.
Right.
So,
okay.
And he's right there in the UK.
Yeah.
which I think would be awesome. He's a really I ran a game for him, which is cheating because it was a game he created. Right? It was I ran a game using the Hydra.
Yep. We're
encounter.
doing that in 2 weeks' time.
Nice. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's deadly.
Yep. Be afraid.
Super scary. All right. But I ran it for him and some of the marketing team from Steamforged and Luke Gygax at GaryCon last year.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's kind of cheating because he knows everything there is to know about it because he wrote it. So I had to I told him, I'm not going to throw your game at you. I'm going to take your game. I'm going to modify it a little bit. And he's like, no, please do. That's what it's meant to be. It's just,
Yep.
And they had a blast. And only one character went down in the combat, but it wasn't his, sadly.
the best that I do rate Steamforge highly, but all their stuff is fantastic. I'm still waiting on Bard Song.
Or Bard Song, yeah.
Yeah. I kickstarted that, and then halfway through the Kickstarter I was like, just before it all closed, when they wrap it up, I was like, no, I'm gonna top it up. So I put in an extra whatever to go to the full whack.
They always get you at the drive-through,
Yep,
right
yep.
at the end, they'll be like,
Definitely.
Okay, fine, I'll take it all.
And but Epic has been great, and I love the hints and advice. They make it more cinematic. They don't say like, here's the frost giant. They say, here's his lair. This is what you can do. This is some ideas you can come up with. Don't just hit him with an axe.
Right.
Do some other stuff. And again, using the environment for both villains and heroes, I love, because it's the best way to. Doesn't matter if you're using miniatures or digital maps, whatever. Everyone is still playing those moments in their imagination.
Yes.
Even in chess, you imagine like your pawns or your soldiers stepping forward, and then the knight steps up, or the rook. There's always a form of combat going on, and that's what I like to capture.
I liked jumping on that table, and making that massive speech about challenging the guy for him to just shrug it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when that happens when the players they come with this amazing thing they want to do, and it's so good, and then you're like, you absolutely hit it, but it just ricochets off the scale armor of the red dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Sounded great. Yeah, I think we all have a little evil DM in us.
I believe in the heroes. I want them to win. I want them to enjoy the story, but I want them to be a challenge. I want them to feel like, oh shit, this could be the game that my character dies.
There's got to be a threat, right?
Yeah. So there has to be
I
a
feel
little
like
bit.
Yeah, there has got to be a level of anxiety that you put on your character or your players, so that they feel like, yeah, exactly what you're saying. This could be the last. This is my last encounter. But if I'm going to go out, I'm going out big.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
how I always think.
And then there's a case of, okay, guys, like, I'm staying here. You do the Gandalf. You sacrifice yourself, because people want to have that moment. As you say, if I'm going, I want it to be meaningful. I want it to save people.
Gandalf just wanted all the XP for himself.
I agree.
he came back and he'd leveled up.
Oh yeah.
New gear, new items, new magic. Yeah.
And everybody was okay with it.
Soloed a Balrog and got all the shiny.
Well, back in first edition, when you didn't level together, you leveled individually.
Yeah.
About the only way you had as a mage to level was to use magical items. You just get experience points for using magical items.
Yeah.
So you just go hunting for everything. Ring protection. That was, I think that was 1,000 XP you get for ring protection. Finally, a chance to catch up with the fighters.
Especially with the amount of kills that Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli were getting.
Yes. That's it.
He had to catch up.
He just went on his own quest.
Me and my son have started watching the Lord of the Rings movies, and we just finished Two Towers last Saturday.
Nice.
And the bit where Gandalf turns up on the hill, and he was just like, "Wow!" And then all the horses come up behind him, and he's like, "Oh wow!" It's just like...
That is awesome.
Yeah, and like he loves the Ents, and what the bit with them like destroying
Isengard.
Isengard, he was just like drooling over.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. How old is he?
He's 10, so yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But
I think
that's,
I was.
That was always my favourite bit of the book, actually.
I think I was like 10 or 11 when I read The Hobbit for the first time.
Mm.
Yeah.
And changed my life.
Yeah.
And when I got to middle school, they actually had us read the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy in our literature class.
Mm.
I was like, okay, yeah, twist my
again?
arm.
Yeah, what again?
What was he trying to say here? I don't know, that orcs are bad. Kill all the orcs. I subscribe. All right.
The Urukai are cool. They're my favorite.
Yeah, the Urukai, so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I think a wash now is going to be where I'm at, and then after the wash, I'm going to hit the eyes and just kind of see if there's any other details I need to put on this creeper.
Yep.
Look at him. He's just a whole level of spooky.
It is great.
Let's see if I can get some more light on this again.
I'm going to try something stupid. See if it's going to work or it's going to go horribly wrong.
Let's find some wash. While I was at PAX Unplugged, I did a couple workshops teaching people how to paint using shortcuts.
Yep.
And it was kind of funny because it was sponsored by Steamforged.
Cool.
And so we did these miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the orcs on the polar bears, absolutely, they're my favourite.
They are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, I didn't give anybody the polar bear orcs. Those were like giveaways during my session, but I gave them all just the regular standing orcs. But some people got to walk away with an extra minute. Everybody got to walk away with another miniature.
Yeah.
But because these are supposed to be Arctic orcs and it's already a blue, we literally just kind of used what came with the actual model color.
Yeah.
As like that's our base, and then from there we worked outwards, and it was a lot of fun. And I think that's another thing that you guys could do in events for like Gen Con is be like, we would like to do, a full-on painting session with, a ton of folks, and then try to get at least one sponsor.
Yeah, we've actually spoken to Vallejo about doing something like that. So it's getting the the paint along audience or a model that we could paint. But
right.
the Steamforged, we would love to do something like that. I'll give him I'll send Toby another email and see what we can do.
Big Tooth Pete in chat says, "I'm an orc fiend. I love them."
Orcs are awesome, right?
Fellow orc.
So I am going to use a wash, and I'm going to use the red tone. I'm going to do it on one model. If I don't like it, obviously I won't do it on the other. Yeah. Let's take a look. How it comes out. I don't want it on that one. I want it. Well, reduce it to. And then when putting the red tone on, I'm trying not to get it on on the clothy bits.
Yeah.
Except for along the upper edge where it may have gotten bled into. But this is something to do just on the fleshy bits. God, it's kind of bloody.
And this is just the wash.
Yeah, just a wash. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of making it. It's not a bad thing, but it's definitely making it a more like horrific creature. It's like, ugh. Once I get it fully washed here, I'll put it on the I'll put that light on there.
So big tough Pete in the audience, thank you very much for joining us. Good to see you again. I can't remember, Pete. I know you draw, but do you paint minis? Not can you, do you? I can't, but I'm practicing.
Season 4. You absolutely can.
And here's the thing: there's yes. I mean, it's been Steve. What was the maths on the hours? 40, 30.
You'll be 36 now if you haven't painted since the last.
Okay. 36 hours, and I'm getting so much better.
You are getting better. You are getting better.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do a show. I would. We're going to go all the way to Gen Con and go, yeah, we're going to paint. And who are these guys? I've got 30 hours of experience. Just do what I do.
Kind of fun. I think that'd still be kind of fun. Is be like, if all three of you were on stage or in the front of the class, you each already have a skill level that is different than the other.
Yeah.
And so you each bring something different to the conversation, right? And you can be like, hey, if this is your first time coming to an event like this and painting a model, you and I are in the same boat. And here's what I've learned in my 36 or 40 hours of painting.
A lot of it is about finding somebody you relate to as well, isn't it? Because there's a lot of people that paint minis, but you tend to gravitate towards someone who not necessarily paints in a similar style, but that you understand the method that they use and can follow because it seems logical.
Yeah.
So although you don't have many hours experience, Dave, I think a lot of people relate to it because you're putting out something that looks decent with that short time. It almost gives hope to people. You see a lot of stuff on Instagram and you think, I'm never going to achieve that, and it sort of kind of puts you off attempting it in the first place.
Yeah, but
I agree with that.
I think that's why the brush off is a slightly different type of show, which I think is what people enjoy.
So I do like the red on there. It gives it that bloody, gory look. So I'm gonna definitely keep it and put it on the other miniature.
I find it interesting that this zombie's taken time out of his day to wrap his legs in bandages.
Oh, right?
He's being modest.
It's like, oh, I've got a cut on my ankle. Better wrap that in a bandage, otherwise it'll get infected.
Well, it looks like I'm going to be chasing them on my hands and knees again. I don't want to get them all scruffed up like last time.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those things when you are talking about like the miniature sculpts, because these are obviously beautiful sculpts.
Yep.
And the sculpts that people are putting out today, the different manufacturers and publishers, are like so much better than what we had to play with in the 80s. Even though the 80s were amazing as well during their time, but
very little definition in the models. They were blobs of plastic.
Or pewter.
Or the metal ones, or the lead.
Lead.
I'll just stick that in my mouth for a while.
It explains a lot.
Right. but the thing is you still want to ask those questions, like what was the sculptor thinking of when they added that? Because this creature would probably not worry about that. But I know that those are probably tatters from its remains of it, whatever clothing it was buried in, or whatever. I mean, I get it, but I like what you're saying is, yeah, they don't care. They just want to eat the flesh of man.
Yep.
An elf and dwarf and halfling at home.
Don't go out without wrapping up your legs. Oh, Mum.
Mom! You take away all my fun. But then there's the models that are so detailed that you're like, man, that is so cool that they added that. Like, I think we talked about it one time on a previous episode. The frost giant from the Epic Encounters.
Yeah.
It has a freaking full-sized deer on its hip.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, the level of detail you can get from a piece of plastic is remarkable. And then there was we also, if you know of these people, Rick, Blacklist Games, they did a range of fantasy minis. It was a Kickstarter. Me and Steve both backed it.
Okay.
And a lot of people in the States still haven't had theirs yet, but we've had ours arrive before Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And there's a good range. There's a good mix of things. You know, you get 5 zombies, 5 skeletons, and you get these kind of individual heroes. When you paint them, they come to life. There's like Steve's painted some stuff for some of our shows, and it's almost like there's like skin has texture.
What?
It is incredible. Looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the artistry that exists today, especially with like 3D printers to make your initial molds and stuff, or your master prints, if you will, is just, it's crazy good. No. So after the wash is when you're also going to see that you're going to need to do some other detail work on your minis. So
we are down to the last half hour, folks.
What? Already?
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah, it does. All right. It's kind of fun as I'm taking that uniform and brown and the sea gray, and I'm doing a little mix of lighten the brown up to do the rope that is like the belt on this. I just didn't want to like dig through my paints again. But this is actually doing a really good job of lightening it up. And with something like this, I would almost like want to use like a fluorescent or super bright color for the eyes, like fire orange, or there's like electric green that is just super bright, and or even the verde escapanda, or what it's called, escopena green, this bright green from Vallejo, just so that those eyes are like, you know, got that eerily like mystical light of life, but unlife, I guess. But I hate doing eyes, and I've said this on previous episodes of this. It's just, it's one of those skill sets that I'm not good at, and I've watched videos, and I still watch videos to be like, I really want to do a better eye, and then I realize I'm gonna have to not do them with a brush anymore. So I've been getting like 0 paint markers, so I can just go dot.
So you go dot, yeah.
super, super fine detail paint markers. Yeah, these are looking good. These little minis here. I actually hope that none of my players in my campaign I'm running are watching, because I probably will be throwing these at them. And I feel like that's kind of a spoiler in your guys' space. If they know that you're painting something that's going to be in a campaign coming up, spoiler.
It'll be a spoiler, and then it'll be, this is your friend.
Right?
He's on your side. Or do you remember that player who died?
Nice.
They've come back.
Tommy, no. That is awesome.
Yeah, Tommy now gets the always hungry perk.
Right? He's looking at me like I'm a piece of chicken. What? No, Tommy would never think. Tommy bit me last night. What?
I feel like the end of what's the zombie movie with from the
With
Cornetto trilogy.
Nick Frost.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Shaun of the
what
Dead.
was it?
Shaun
Yeah,
of the Dead, yeah.
At the end, where he's still got him as his mate in the.
Yeah, and they're still playing video games
Yeah, yeah.
in the shed. That was a great movie,
Yeah.
especially with the whole white lines scene.
Yeah.
White lines. Ah, he gets it. Yeah, this is cool. Whiz kids and your miniatures, making me want to throw them at players.
Throw zombies at people.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. Is like undead are like some of my favorite creatures to throw at people in game.
Mine too.
Like in my homebrew that I'm running called the Stormcrest Chronicles, which I started a year ago today,
Cool.
which is kind of funny. The world, starts off where it's been in a ice age in the northern hemisphere for like 1,000 years or 5,000 years or whatever, and but it's now starting to melt, and it was a magically occurring ice age. So there were cities, civilizations, all sorts of stuff that were flash frozen, and now that it's melting, those creatures, because it was a magical induced ice age, are now undead. And so
Ooh.
hordes of undead are starting to emerge from the ice, and it's not a good thing. So the party's got to figure it out. How do we stop this here?
Hey, hello, Sean Sunday. How you doing, dude?
Hey, Sean.
Green Beast Studios.
Brain Beast Studio. That's a cool name.
Yeah, Sean Sunday is Brainbee Studios in Australia. So they're
Okay.
all the way from tomorrow.
What?
The future.
Yeah. He's probably having breakfast, tuning in. There you go, morning.
Morning.
Having his breakfast.
Nice.
Badger breakfast. Okay, we are down to last 15, 20 minutes.
All right.
I think we're doing well.
Yeah. I can't wait to see y'all's little creatures.
Well, I've practically.
Oh, he's like, we did brush off last year. Oh yeah. But Brain Beast, that's a cool name. Oh, look at that. That looks great. Heck yeah.
I've gone with a grey.
I've half done the other one. Maybe I'd do it in
One
time.
last time with my my special eyes. so I can do the eyes on these guys. No. There we go. Concentration. You know what? I'm gonna cheat a little.
Get a hairdryer.
I don't have my markers here, but I have something else that's super fun.
Get out, yeah.
This washi's not drying in time.
I need to. I don't think I've even seen it.
There we go. So I'm going to take a cotton tip applicator. I break the tip. I break it to give me a sharp point,
Yeah.
And just dab it in.
and I'm going to stab him right in the eye with this red paint.
It's actually a genius idea.
Right in the eye. Die eye. This one. It's been in my draft. I'm actually doing a duet with one of your TikToks today, Rick. Uh-oh. Which one is it?
Oh yeah, Sean's
Yeah.
the person that I was saying earlier on about the asking people to duet with one of the models that he's bought. Which I can't remember what the name of it was. We spoke about it earlier.
Nice. The Kraken. Nice. Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Kraken's a nice model.
So the Kraken that I had in that video, I did not paint that. That was painted by a friend of mine who's also a retired military Navy guy named Bruce out of Florida. And he sent it to me as a gift. I was like, dang. And it's really nice.
Is that the Wiz Kids Kraken?
It is not. It is.
Oh.
It's more of like a giant's. This one's more like a actual giant squid.
Oh,
And that's
yeah, I think I've seen that one. Is that the Reaper?
I think it might be Reaper. It's like got a little bit of a boat underneath it, and the squid's coming like over top of a boat that's sunken.
Yeah.
It's real nice. And because we're both squids, is why he sent it. I was like, I get it. Yeah, it was nice. So
That's cool. We've got
very cool. All right. So
Sure.
what do we got here?
Yeah,
Still got time.
There we go. Cool.
I thought I'm going to take my time with the other one and highlight it rather than just dry brush it.
And sometimes I feel like every time I say that, we got time. We got time. Like Mr. Incredible. At the beginning of the first Incredibles movie, when he's stopping all those villains before his wedding. I've got time.
There's still time. We've got time.
But no, like I said before, my big thing is I'm painting the giant Cthulhu from Elon right now. Well, and that thing is, I'm not brush. Most people would use an airbrush to at least put the base coats on it, but I don't have one. So it is getting the time-consuming hand brush, and it is killing me.
A long process, but it'll be worth it in the long run.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun once it's all done. I've been looking at like other people's posts where they put up of that paint, and it's like, yeah, those are good. Wow, that looks great. Dave, that looks really good.
I've gone with the grey. Yeah, it's just I've been trying. What I've been trying to do is highs and low of colour. So in the clothing he's got, there are holes. So try to make those as dark as possible. And on the skin, you probably can't see it on here, but the that little bit of bone, I've made it more yellowy, so it's more like exposed bone.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the muscle definition there has really come up actually.
Yeah. Are you gonna put a wash on it?
That has a slight wash on it. I was just looking around to see if I use a flesh wash, but then I was thinking, can I get away with if I watered down a very light green, and then just add a tint of colour, because this is grey flesh. But will that green kind of seep in and make it more, as you say, more rotten, a rotten feel to it?
More rotten, yeah.
Yeah.
And even then, you don't have to do the whole thing. You could literally just do spots, like again the spinal column.
It's definitely you got the spine, and as you say, you got this patch here, this muscle definition, because that is just that looks 100 times better than when it's unpainted.
Yeah.
You can really see that now. And I did too. I've got me back up. Got his buddy. This is the first one. This was the experiment.
Our level map of a frigate with cannons. Yes, the Ark and Forge.
Yeah.
Yeah, those look great. It's so sad that they're going to have to be killed by your party of adventurers, though.
Or will they? These are the adventurers.
Yeah, they're just ghouls, go about their business, minding their, and then a bunch
looking
of
for any trouble.
A bunch of adventurers turn up.
It's always the adventurers causing trouble.
Yeah. So where's the high and mighties?
Yeah.
This is that's a green. I've got a green ink. Let's try and water that down.
Ghoul was just on his way home to his wife and 2 ghouls.
His little ghouls and his spousey ghoul and the ghoul lord that overlooks everybody's ghouldom. These are super fun. I had a good time painting these with y'all, and they're gonna definitely be eating some adventurers in my game as well.
How many do you like every mini you've painted, apart from the ones you give away at shows and conventions? How many minis do you think you've clocked up at?
Wow. Well, like I said, I've been painting since like 1986. So, in 1 year, I painted at least 500 gnolls once.
Oh, why?
So,
Did you just production line them or?
yeah, basically, I have them. So I was stationed in Hawaii, and I had been accumulating a bunch of gnolls because this was back when 3.0 was coming out.
Yeah.
And I was the president of the dedicated Oahu Gamers Society, and we were also part of the Living Greyhawk like creation, or we had our own like area that was part of the Living Greyhawk, and I wanted to do like this big mass event where they go to this mini like a games day. Everybody would play in a module, and then the ones that got a certain thing in the module got to participate in a massive like land battle against a horde of gnolls that was getting ready to attack a medium-sized village, not like a large village or city, but they're just going to come wipe out this village. And so the party had some objective, like tabletop miniature objectives, but it was like 500 gnolls. And yeah, that was. I didn't paint a lot of miniatures after that for like a year.
Yeah.
But I would say overall, I've probably clocked into I'd say close to 5,000, maybe 6,000 miniatures overall.
Wow.
Nice.
Do you ever like where at places like Gary Conner conventions, the other painters? Do you is there a scoreboard somewhere? Has someone got like how many people have painted?
Wow, that's a good. I mean, they have their program books, but they don't have like. I don't know if they have like a school board or a numbers thing. GaryCon. So I've never been to GaryCon. This year will be my first physical attendance.
Cool.
So I'm curious as to that. But GameholeCon, they had a really cool like paint and take area out in the lobby of the convention center.
Yeah.
And that thing was packed the entire weekend.
Well, if you get to take it with you, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and people just go in there. You grab a miniature. I think they were looking for like $1, at least $1 donation or to whatever charity that it was supporting. But
Yep.
$1 donation, you get to pick a miniature, and all the paint's provided and brushes, and you just go and sit down.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. And then like Origins Game Fair, they have lots of workshops. PAX had lots of workshops. And then of course competitions, which Joe, are you going to be entering any competitions if you're going to come over here?
Could do. Yeah, maybe. Need to have a look at what their requirements are, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, they always have I think Gen Con always has a speed paint competition, which is super fun.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then of course there's the one where you bring something you've been working on and you put it into the showcase, and then you get judged by real pro painters, like the ones that have won golden demons and crystal brushes.
Yeah, no pressure.
Oh, big Tooth Pete asks, the real question is how big is the stash of to paint or unpainted? my miniatures of shame is probably 3 times that many. Is over probably like 18,000. I'm sure I have sitting around.
Oh,
it's ridiculous how many unpainted miniatures I have. It's gross.
Yeah.
With working with all these publishers and over the years, and they are always like sending you stuff to do reviews or paint or whatever. You might paint one piece out of a box, and then you got to paint the next thing. And so, like the Epic Encounters, I think I painted one piece out of every box, but there's 20 some miniatures per box.
Yeah. Well, that was the bit that we were kind of coming up with, because we suggested to Steamforged, like, how do we do this? We don't want to we can send one mini out to people. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But do we kind of send this, as you say, there's 20 miniatures in the orcs set, and they're all beautiful and fantastic. Do I just paint the orcs every episode, and every episode we're just talking about the boxes? It doesn't seem to highlight enough. So yeah, I think there's an idea of like, how do we make the epic brush off different to the British brush or the great brush off. So yeah, they're trying to find a format. I mean, other than we can paint their bosses, but then I don't want them to have to spend big money sending big bosses out to artists unless they're really happy with who we get.
Right. Well, they sent me for PAX Unplugged, they sent me 5 boxes of the orcs and 5 boxes of the goblins that are on the tree frogs.
Yeah, they were good. They're good as well. They're brilliant. They're so funny. They got you got the tree the frog licker.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah,
right? And they, they're comfortable sending me 5 of each
yeah,
box, and that's a lot of miniatures. Granted, I broke it all up and gave them all away, but I'm guessing if they're comfortable sending 5 or 10 boxes of miniatures,
yeah.
they'd be comfortable sending what, 4? You're gonna
Yeah.
have one person, you 3 painting, so you each would get one, and then whoever your guest is.
Yeah.
That seems like a no-brainer for them. But I'm curious as to how you would do it to ensure that all the miniatures were to get
Covered.
painted in the epic brush off.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, those look great.
So this time I've added so I used a green ink and I've watered it down quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's coming up on camera, but there is a green tinge now to his flesh.
Yeah, it has like it's almost like an olive tinge.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. And they look great.
I don't know if it'll focus.
I like how Steve and Joe are hiding their miniatures so I can't see any progress.
Yeah. We're getting into the last 4 minutes.
I think I need to zoom my camera down a little bit maybe whilst I'm
That
painting.
looks great. Yeah. Yeah, that looks super
This
good.
will get done.
You can see actually on my one.
Check
You
your
can
Twitter
see,
DMs after stream.
is that Brain Boost? Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, check your tweets.
Oh, check mine. Okay.
Yeah, check your Twitter DMs. That's cool. Yeah, look at Joe and Steve. I see Steve down there doing something. He's hiding it.
I've got in here. This is actually come out much better than I'd hoped. In this bit, again, you can't see it. Maybe what if I turn this light off? It'll work. It might just be too dark. There is, like, just in there. It's like rotted green.
Yeah. Yeah. That looks
quite
good.
well.
Yeah.
You got the yellow on the spine has come through now as well.
Yes.
Kill them all.
Yeah.
So, Sean's going to be playing in my upcoming D&D game, and he can't decide what character he wants to run.
So, are you guys able to like meet up in real world now over there?
We kind of have been. We've done. So me and Steve have been to a couple of conventions here in the UK. The usual thing: pubs, cinemas, restaurants. They've all reopened. The shops are open, and everyone's wearing their masks when they go out. And then, when the next version of the virus came around, everyone's getting the boosters. But at that point, we're kind of sent back home. You can't go back to the office, so
Right.
a very quiet Christmas. It was grey weather, rainy weather, cold, miserable, and an unsocial Christmas, which is not what you want, really.
No, it is not.
But
No, I just realized I've been sitting here painting and talking to you all, and I'm on the Twitch channel watching the stuff, and it's rotating through some imagery of the ghouls, and then it pops up the image of me. That's my character. That's Eugene Swiftcloak with the turkey leg in his hand.
yeah,
It's amazing. What a handsome fellow.
well, that was a photo you sent to use, so that's what we use now. It's in all the promos.
I had totally forgotten. I think my Alzheimer's is kicking in already.
It starts to do that. Right, Steve, Joe, paintbrushes down.
Cool.
All right, let's see these beasts.
Oh, stick.
I want to see which one looks hyper realistic.
Which one do you have nightmares about?
All right. Steve, Joe, you ready?
Yeah,
Yes.
let me just tidy me space up.
Gonna get your cameras in order.
I'll move this out of the way so I can put my mouse up there.
Look at those wet palettes looking so good.
Where are you, Zoom?
It's also you can tell that we've improved as well because we managed to paint 2 minis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's I haven't. There's no varnish yet, but I will varnish these, and I'll take some photos and I'll stick these on various socials. But yeah, that's 2 done in 2 hours.
Yeah. I remember
That's awesome.
the very first brush off. I had trouble painting one tiny goblin.
Yeah, we all had. We all did.
Yeah.
Because it's
Right.
a tiny goblin, I still struggle with that now.
So Steve, Joe, this is my ghoul.
Continue.
I went grey skin. I went with a flesh wash. I did green ink. Watered it down to give it the kind of rotted skin. So it's kind of greeny in there. And I'm...
I like the black nails that you gave on his feet.
Yeah.
So that it looks like it's like clawed its way up out of the dirt of a grave or wherever the ghoul burrow is.
Yeah.
So it's got the filth going on there. That's
So
cool.
this is my practice one as well. So you can see the toe paint job there is not so good. And then here is the other one. And you can actually see individual toes there.
Yeah,
On that one.
that's awesome.
And then the same thing. So I did same procedure. The bone at the top, there's a little bit of yellow. All this has a little bit of green tinge. And then my favourite bit is just this bit here. It just looks like green rot.
Where the second wash you put on.
Yeah, it's just really seeped into that. It's like a green gash. It came out really well, I think. I'm actually really pleased with those. They will be making an appearance very soon in the Scarlet Citadel. But yeah, cool. Right, so that's me. Steve, you're up next. You see if you can get that.
Let's see.
Get that camera in.
Alright, I'll figure around that in a minute. Hang on. I'll zoom my camera in.
Right. Oh, look at him.
Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Right, so I went for the green skin, and then I went with a series of greys. The effect actually sent it sort of a violet colour.
I like the eyes. They're really vibrant.
Yeah.
Yeah, those eyes stick out.
Do that slow spin again. Right. Keep going. Slow. Right there. Yeah. Scary.
I painted the tongue red, and then I got a very pale pink. It's pale flesh, and did some very tiny horizontal lines to try and put some texture on it. The wash didn't work, so what I tried to do is I took a violet ink and thinned it, and I must have thinned it too much because it just ran everywhere, and it hasn't stained the green like I wanted it to. So I used a foul green, which is quite a bright green, and I should have put more grey on when I did the first layer of dry brushing, because it sort of all stayed mid-tones, whereas the leather that I just went leather brown and then bone white with a dry brush has turned out, and I had to put an umber wash on it. So
I was going to say the leather looks amazing. It really is popping off.
So I think a red wash would have been better. The violet really didn't take with the green.
Yeah.
So I should have gone heavier with that first layer, I think, and then the other one. There's the other one if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
The wash is still wet on that, so I haven't done any detailing with a tongue or anything.
Yeah. Well, it looks. I can see the wash is taking a little bit in the muscles on the back there. You can
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
See it better on this model than the previous.
Yeah, I like the leather. I've done them both. That's turned out well.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I'll kill them both.
Okay, Joe, over to you.
Cool. So here's my first one. Let's see if we can. Where are we? No focus. Done a typical grey. If my camera's focusing on it.
It's focused, but it's still far away.
Let's get a bit closer. Where are we? Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gone for some tattered robes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to. Where are we? Pink tongue as well.
Could you do a closer? Bring the face closer. I just want to see that face. It looks.
Let's
See
focus.
if it focuses in.
You got yellow
Yeah,
eyes.
that looks cool. Yeah,
Okay.
that looks cool.
Yeah. And then for the second one. Where are we? Oh, just on paper. Yes.
Oh, very different.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
focus.
huge difference. I like the fact that you kind of kept is the leather bits or the cloth bits still kind of a gray.
Yeah,
You
yeah. So I've
kept
tried.
it that gray.
When I get
That's
closer,
cool.
it just doesn't focus it. See if it. Ah, there we go. Picked it
There
up.
you go. Yeah, I can see that wash in there as well.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
got the
that's
skin's been peeled off. On
Yeah.
that one. It's got old
Yeah.
leather muscles underneath. That's
Yeah.
got some really good definition on it. That one.
Yeah, that's definitely got some creep factor going on.
Yeah,
That looks great.
yeah.
it looks like that should be it should be yellow and then it turns green. Like that's a fresh one.
That's a fresh gooey gut.
Yeah, a gooey one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually this technical paint, Tesseract Glow. And it's just a really weird paint. When you put it over pinks, it goes really strange. I found that out by accident when painting a friend of mine's like little goblin things.
So finally, round the table, Rick, show us how it's all done.
All right. Well, so mine, I don't know how well that's looking on there.
Oh,
Let
that's
me get
really
a
good.
better light here. So make sure it's in frame and got some good light on it. So yeah, I did the base gray. I tried to do the green eyes, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not good at eyes. But I putting the fray on the bottom of the leather.
Yeah, that's nice.
Where it's aged, and then putting that red. I may have gone a little too heavy on that red, but you can still see greens and everything in there. I don't know if it's gonna.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
famous. Yeah.
Just by holding it there, you can see that again the muscle definition on that back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That red has opposed the green really well in there.
Yeah, I would kill
Yeah.
these. This one has a little bit more green still into it from the base in like the face
Yeah.
and a couple other spots.
It's showing up well though. That's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I do like the extra element on the skirts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fray effect, very nice.
Yeah.
We'll kill them all.
You know, like in Walking Dead, you get the fresh zombies and the zombies that have been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Yep.
the gooeyes.
That's
Those are
cool.
like the ones coming up out of the wells or out of the water. So like that.
So we can, at this point, we should be able to swap back to our normal cameras. And new for 2022, we have no expense spared as we have upgraded. We have upgraded our special effects department. We're going back to our gold stars. There is a gold star on the screen if you're watching this live on Twitch, Steve and Joe. It's on. The hunt is on. There it goes. It's spinning around the screen.
It's in the centre.
Where is it going to land? No one knows.
I know.
Oh, it's doing it now. Look at that.
There it is.
No.
I see it.
Expense spared.
No expense spared. It's on.
Hand going like this at the desk.
Rick, over to you. You get the first gold star of 2022. It's awarded to. I can't do a drum roll at the same time.
All right.
There we go.
It's going to go to Joe.
Joe. Ding, there we go. Joe has won the very first gold star of 2022. I put it. There you go. Ba-ding.
Thank
It is
you
done.
very much, Rick.
That second minute that had that you did the different colorations on it looked so good. I think everybody did great. I think seeing the progress you've all made in your painting, especially you, Dave, from the first time we painted together, which I think the first time you did this in season 1, I think I was like the second or third, but you already had 2 miniatures under your belt. Right? Yeah. And so from seeing what you did then to where you're at now is leaps and bounds, and it's only going to get better, and y'all are killing it. I hope y'all can make it to Gen Con. That would be freaking awesome.
We're gonna
hang out with y'all.
That's the plan, is to do as much at Gen Con as we can. Just drinking, dinners, whatever parties are on. we are there. We're there a week. But yeah, the idea is if we can do live shows, if we can do live painting shows, even better. That'd be great. So cool. Yeah. Well, again, Rick, thank you very much.
I plan on introducing you to everybody.
Yeah, just please do. Again, we can meet them in person and say, look, we love everything that is fantasy, role-playing game related, and we love sticking it in front of a camera, so even better. And the Band of Badgers is still going strong here. We still can't meet up online in person, but we're doing what we can as a Badger community to keep on playing. Loads more games to come this year. We've only just started, and there's a ton of stuff, an absolute ton of stuff. So, Steve, Joe, thank you for joining us as always. Rick, always a pleasure. We will see you again fairly soon because we're going to be doing another bit of painting before this season is over. We're kind of doing WizKids and Cerberus Studios, who will be joining us with some miniatures, and a nice change actually, something very different, very new. For us, anyway. Rick paints everything under the planet.
I do.
In fact, Rick, have you yet painted the planet? Is that...
So, I probably have used enough paint to paint the planet.
Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, right. We're going to leave it there, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you found all this information of use. Check out all our other episodes of The Great British Brush Off. And until then, goodbye.
Take care.
See you another time. Bye bye.
Have you got someone to raid, or I can?